Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Web3 Founders Real Talk. Today, we have Jared, the growth manager of NFTGo, to shed light on some amazing backstage stories about NFTGo and its Web3 journey. Also, we will cover some NFT trends you must watch in 2023 as well. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Can you please briefly introduce yourself and NFTGo?
So my name is Jared, growth manager here at NFTGo. I got started in Web2 internet marketing in 2007, 2008.
Wow.
So I've been doing that for quite a bit. And then I got into Web3 um, probably around 2019. But I was just dabbling in tiny bits of Bitcoin, things like that during the XRP lawsuit and started paying attention more. And then about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago now, got involved in NFTs. And then NFTGo, we're working NFT data analytics platforms, and we're also a trading aggregator. So we've been around for about a year and a half. And basically, we like to think of ourselves as the Bloomberg of NFTs. You can come to our site and check out which NFTs are doing well, which NFTs are not doing well. You can create watch lists that track certain wallets or collections or individual NFTs. Our analytics are quite in depth, and we can get into that later, the specifics. And then we're also a trading aggregator, so you can purchase NFTs on our site as well. And that's pretty cool because we aggregate from multiple different marketplaces. So you can create, and within one transaction, you can buy multiple NFTs from multiple marketplaces. We'll automatically pull in the cheapest price. And since you do it in one transaction, you pay less gas fees. So
Yeah. Oh, wow. Very impressive.
yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely tell like NFTGo is becoming one of the most handy tools for all those NFT traders or investors, or even for wider community. As you have mentioned that NFTGo is, I would say, a leading all-in-one NFT aggregation platform that enable us to make NFT-related transactions more wisely by analyzing diverse NFT market data. We would like to know what inspired your team to create NFTGo in the first place.
Back in 2021, when they were getting started, there really wasn't a proper NFT analytics platform. And as they started popping, there wasn't one that was really comprehensive. You could get maybe data on one site and a different set of data on another site. And there really just wasn't a good quality solution where you can go to one website, one platform, and get all the data that you needed. So our founders are pretty legit DJs that have been doing this for a while. And they essentially were creating a tool because they saw a problem that needed to get solved. And so they created it. And I think that's why it's so effective, is because the people who created it and are continuing to update it use this type of data to trade regularly. So it's built by the community for the community.
Yeah, very impressive. It seems like you guys have identified the pain points and also came up with a solution that able to really solve the issues. Is there any like challenge or resistance encountered along the way? Like, how did your team overcome this like barriers?
Yeah, well, so there's definitely been a few. So basically, it's an extremely competitive market. I think the main difficulty was building trust within the community that our data is effective. So there's a lot of competition in the market, and a few other platforms had come to launch a little bit before us. And so we had to continuously improve our data and gain users' trust. So we have a clear goal of development, right? And
Mhm.
so, and step one was basically we wanted to gain trust of traders and people to have faith in the data that we provide and know that by looking at the info that we have, that it's going to be accurate and it's going to be fast. So that was step one. And then step two is we're basically attempting to be the coin market cap of NFTs, so to speak. And so we like basically like a coin market cap slash Bloomberg. And we want people to be able to come here and learn everything about the NFT market, to trade successfully. And and other than some technical aspects like building our own nodes and communicating exactly what they need and where our weak points are, the main thing was just I guess just continuously to listen to our community to solve problems. You have such a vast amount of collections. Little tiny mistakes can come up here and there. Sometimes you wouldn't pull in data accurately from one collection. So it took us a while to be constantly in Discord and on Twitter, listening to the community and changing things as quickly as possible. When we have someone who's a community manager for a different collection, them reaching out to us, letting us know that something wasn't accurate. So it took a few months of that happening regularly for us to find some pain points where our data wasn't necessarily being pulled in perfectly all the time in order to fix it. And then the next biggest thing was speed. We had to constantly improve how we were pulling in data and the processing power with which we were doing so, because the NFT market is so instant. So we've now built what I'm pretty sure is the fastest nodes. And I think that our data is almost instant. You're going to see things on our site, if not quicker.
Yes, definitely. I actually can tell like you guys have released very consecutive iterations to really improve the product functionality and the configurations, such as just name it. There are a lot of tools like real-time NFT, market analytics, trading aggregator, developers API, top mints, well tracking, like Twitter extension, and then many more to help users really discover, analyze, trade, and track their portfolio. How to maintain such like prolific progress, and how to maintain your competitive advantage, like from your opinion?
Yeah, well, so most of our employees are devs and engineers.
Oh.
So that's the most important thing for us. So there'll be a lot of like if you know much about like Beats by Dre, that's a really famous headphone company, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at how they spent their money when they got their investors,
Mm-hmm.
I think 90, I forget the exact number off the top of my head, so I apologize if I'm misspeaking, but well over 50% of the money that they had coming in was spent on marketing, not on R&D, not on building a quality product. So they got very famous very quickly and they sold lots of headphones, but to a lot of people, they had an inferior product. So we're doing the opposite of that. We're putting
Mm-hmm.
most of our money, most of our time, most of our effort in developers and engineers. So we believe that by consistently investing in the types of people that are going to be working to build these new products and to build these new features, that's going to be a much more sustainable business model than just throwing all of our money at marketing. So the reason why we're able to constantly shell out new features is because our dev team is constant. So me on the community side and some of the other community members, we're always listening to the community, asking for feedback. And when any tickets arise, we're making adjustments as quickly as we can. And our founders are also, they have a very set plan for what features they're going to add, and they can communicate with our dev team to add new features that come up as the community is asking for it. But the short answer is we've got a lot of devs that work really, really hard, and they're a really wonderful team to work with, and they're intelligent and hardworking.
Yeah, it seems like you guys are very being very product oriented instead of marketing oriented. And also, social listening is always the key to keep the Web3 projects alive as well. I would say it's really smart move because we can tell like you guys have achieved very decent market penetration. Would you like to share some insights about like how to capture the proper market insight to, for entrepreneurs to fulfill users' need and make the project sustainable? since it's still a very like unsolved mystery for some of projects that they may still struggle with product market fit, or there are some entrepreneurs they are having trouble getting their like startup bootstrap or even financed by external investors. Like how to keep everything on the right track. This question could be a little bit trickier.
Yeah, well, I mean, that answer is going to be different for a lot of people. I
Yeah.
can only share some individual experiences that I've had. So the
Mhm.
number one thing that I would say is to be true to who you are, right? So for instance, that's why I highlighted earlier that our founders have been degens for a very long time and have been involved with this community. So they're building a product that they know about and that they believe in, and that also that they know a hole in the market that needed to be filled, and they filled it. So if you're really speaking from the heart and working on what you know, it's going to be much more easier to build a quality product, right? And the other thing is similar to what I was saying earlier. If we focus on product first, and if you really believe in what you're doing and you're not rushed into getting a certain amount of market share certain quickly or at a certain amount of time, I apologize for that mistake, but you need to like stay the course and have faith in yourself and what you're doing and consistently work on product first. So like content is king, right? For getting traffic and things of that nature. So if you're building quality content site, and our product is our content, our data is our content. So if we are constantly focusing on having the best possible data and serving our clients the best that we possibly can, or Web3, all the rest is going to kind of fall into place. So even on our Twitter spaces and stuff, I try to be as genuine as I possibly can. And I won't always even stay focused on our product, right? Sometimes I'll just allow myself the space to communicate in as real as a matter as possible with people who I'm chatting with. So it's never easy. It's been a very difficult thing for us because we're dealing with certain competitors that have more than 10 times more funding than we got initially. And we're somehow managing to compete with them, which I think is really amazing. It says a lot about our team and the things that we're doing, but it's not always going to be easy to try and make it as an entrepreneur. But if you start by building something that you believe in and that you know about, being as real and as you possibly can, because that will resonate with people. If you like, so like if you're making a song, for instance, that's what I do in my free time. So it's an easy analogy for me to make. If you try to make a song that you think will be popular, or if you try to make a song that you think people will like for whatever reason, instead of making a song for yourself that you like, then you're going to fail. If you do something the way that you want it to be done and the way that you like it, that's going to resonate with a certain audience, rather than just being fake and inauthentic and trying to push stuff out there that you don't really believe in just because you think other people will like it. So just stay true to yourself, do what you know, really hard. So like, for instance, when I first got hired here at NFTGo, I worked every day, minimum 8 hours, but usually much more, for 2 months straight, including weekends, nights, everything, just nonstop. And they didn't ask that of me, but I needed to do the best job that I possibly could for them. And I needed to add as much value as I could. And a lot of the team does that. We're constantly working our butts off, and we're really doing our best to add value to our community. And so if we're adding value and we're providing something to our users, that's going to be reciprocated back in the loop. Do what you know, have faith in yourself, work super hard, and be authentic. Those are some general things I think that can apply to most entrepreneurs.
Wow. Well, thank you for the recipe sharing. I can tell, like, crypto people, they don't even sleep. I mean, like, especially given if we see some well-established projects, which means there are a lot of efforts, time has been put into this project. And we can see your team value like early user acquisition or like community building very much. And the current platform serves over 500 institutional customers, over 1,000 communities, and even you guys reach over 1 million retail users now. Here, the next question is more like, from user's end. We would like to know, is this unpaid service still sustainable from, your profit model? And are we planning to launch a paid product for customers or other kind of business? What's the next movement?
So the data that you see now is going to be free for the foreseeable future, but we do actually have some paid services already. We have that's just a data aggregation that a lot of businesses use. We also had an aggregation API for the trading aggregation. And so, for instance, we've been working on this thing that we call a data partnership, where we're using our API to build a cool widget. So let's say, for instance, you're an NFT collection and you want your users to be able to see the data of your collection on your site. We've built this little widget that we send to collections, and if they pay for our API, then they can pull in the data from us and build all sorts of really cool stuff on their site. Basically empowering collections as well. So, but that won't be completely sustainable forever either. Very soon, we're going to be releasing some paid services for customers as well. So that's going to include our alert service and some pro data metrics and some pro accessories. So, for instance, right now you have a watch list, right? And you can follow wallets and collections, but we don't have a way to alert users when certain things happen. And we're going to build out a really cool tool for that. So you'll get notified when a certain data set hits. I can't really disclose precisely what it's going to be yet. But that's going to be something big, and that should be in early Q2. So yeah, I guess that's the gist of it for now that I'm allowed to publicly disclose. But for the users that are concerned, the data that you see now is still going to be free. We're just going to add some more features that are more in depth, that are going to be some premium features. And we also have our API, which is premium.
Wow. That sounds a really big relief from some of the users. And also you guys do have like paid pro services, which is pretty good. And it seems like NFTGo have defined very sophisticated roadmap, I would say, and more than like excited to see more accomplishments from your team in the near future. So yeah, like is there any other like surprise NFTGo will bring us during the next couple of months? Well, what's the next movement of your team? Can you spoil some?
We are definitely working on some pretty big things, but other than what I've told you, I can't disclose anything yet for a number of different reasons. But yeah, keep your eye on us. We're gonna be doing some very interesting things, and as soon as we can disclose anything publicly, I'd be happy to do it with you.
Okay, we will see. Thank you for that. Okay, so let's just move on to the next topic. Since NFTGo basically, I would say, witness all those NFT milestones, trends, landscape, everything. And we've noticed that NFTGo also released the NFT annual report recently. So, here come with some questions in terms of NFT trends, and we hope we can really pick your brain on this. Firstly, like we have seen a dramatic surge in popularity accompanied by, sky high values in the NFT industry. There are some, I would say there are definitely some rationale behind it, like growing numbers of NFT creators and artists, like celebrity buzz, etc. So it did definitely cause some legit and ongoing worries about market bubbles. Since many projects lack real-world application or utility, what would be the next driver to engage more NFT adoption? Like, how can we really boost the NFT adoption in the future?
Well, so that's a loaded question. So the asking about trends and asking about NFT adoption are two separate things. So first of all, trends, I'll answer both of them. But for trends, it's probably going to be gaming. So if you think about how much money is spent in certain industries. The gaming industry makes more money now than the movie industry, right? It's
Yeah.
multi-billion-dollar industry. However, a lot of gamers haven't been very open to the idea of NFTs in their games. And a lot of these Web3 based had much success yet. We've seen some with certain success. Axie Infinity did a really good job. And then when they got hacked, they lost a lot of momentum, although they're still hanging in there. And then Steppen was doing okay. And then it didn't seem like it was sustainable. So a lot of these gaming NFTs haven't quite figured out the tokenomics of everything yet to keep it sustainable. However, we're very bullish on other side. So they got the CEO, the former CEO of Blizzard, hired on back in December, and they obviously have a lot of money. A, they've gotten funded, and B, they've made an incredible amount of money through their various collections. So they're going to set the precedent. And I think there needs to become some sort of standard. So there's a lot of other companies trying to create metaverses, and it's kind of like fractionalized the market, where I think if the other side does a good enough job, and well, if they're gonna make a game, it has to be fun. It has to be an actual good game that's not just about the money, right?
Yeah.
That's what I believe. But if they can actually create a really fun game, and also a game that more than just Web3 people play, so it depends on the point of entry, if anyone can just come play. So if it's an amazing game, and if the metaverse is good, if the tokenomics are sustainable, which I believe they will be, they're going to set a precedent for Web3 gaming. And when that happens, whether it's other side or some other company, I mean, NFTs, I think, are going to explode, because like I said earlier, there's so much money in that industry. And if the game can be fun and people can actually make money while playing a fun game in that economy, the gaming economy that is sustainable, it will be an amazing. So that's what I think would be the most likely. To me, the second most likely would be music NFTs. That's another one that still hasn't been figured out yet. There's a lot of people trying, but those would be my two. And the other question was onboarding people from Web 2 to Web 3. So that's difficult. And there's a few different companies that have done it successfully recently. So like NFTs kind of had a bad rep for some people, right? Because there's been so many rug pulls, there's been some scammy companies, and some people have like gotten their wallets drained. So there's a few different things that need to happen before we really get mass adoption. What Reddit's doing is they're not using the term NFTs. They're using the term digital collectibles, which is really good to get around the whole PR problem that NFTs have for a lot of people. However, it's the same thing. It's still a smart contract. It's still an NFT. But I think we're going to see more larger companies using the term digital collectible instead of NFT, so that they're not scaring people off. And secondly is safety. So right now, everyone's always saying, do your own research, learn about wallets, learn about cold storage, save your keys, and all that stuff is very valid. And we should be teaching people how to do that. However, when we get mass adoption, or if we're going to get mass adoption, we need to get to the point to where the average person can feel more secure in this environment. So it's never going to be completely safe. So even now, by using a credit card or a bank account, people can still get their funds stolen. That's never going to go away, right? But when we get to the point to where the average person can create a wallet and not have to worry about everything being stolen so easily from them, we're going to make huge headway. And another thing is when people are purchasing NFTs without really realizing it. So for instance, when you're in the gaming environment, if people are just, it's really the technology and the smart contracts that make an NFT an NFT, right? So you don't need to say it's an NFT to be buying it. So if there's a big game, for instance, and people are buying rare skins and reselling them within that gaming ecosystem, but with NFT smart contracts behind them. So when people are just doing their thing, living their regular lives, but without really realizing they're using NFTs, that's another thing where we're going to get really mass adoption, when it just becomes a part of your life. So like, if you think about with like Twitter and Instagram, people were like, oh, I'm on Web 2. They weren't consciously thinking that they were using this new technology. It was really
Yeah.
this code Ajax came around in the late 90s, early 2000s, and Twitter and Instagram were built on Ajax. So all these people who were using these platforms, they didn't realize they were using Ajax. They were just using it live. And when we get to that point is when you're going to see massive adoption.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally with you on this because I do see like NFT will benefit from gaming, from Musify, or from other like Web2 brand collaboration or some crossover kind of thing. But as long as we can make it more seamless, more accessible, like people, they would come by the end of the day. I mean, we don't even have to promote. It's an NFT. We don't really have to labelize this kind of narratives very, very much. So yeah, I get your point. Okay, so yeah, and as we all know that the whole like NFT market has experienced some ups and downs in in the last year in 2022. Are there any like core aspects that you would like to share with us, or such as what do you see in NFT industry in 2023 or even longer? Like speaking of NFT, NFT-Fi, and what's the potential NFT trend to watch on your radar?
So some interesting things happening. So especially right now with Blur overtaking OpenSea in many
See,
ways, company, and I'm hard, but they've made some over at OpenSea, they've made some big mistakes recently. And
yeah.
there's a lot of DJs that are very unhappy with the things that they have done. And that was
Hmm.
really poor timing on their part because what Blur has done with their airdrops is provided a lot of value to their traders. So if you look at the last month, there's been more individual people trading on OpenSea, but much, much more volume done on Blur. And this is because their users are farming those coins to get paid.
Hmm.
So Blur was doing this really great job by providing value back to their community. And at the same time, right when they were building trust with their community, then OpenSea just makes error after error. And now you see that Blur is really getting that dominance. Now, there's still a lot of people that don't like everything that Blur is doing. And
Hmm.
so I think it still really hasn't, we still haven't really seen if one person or one company is going to dominate that market.
Hmm.
So that's going to be interesting. But I think we're going to see less and less of OpenSea. And um, and then the ordinals thing recently has been a big trend. People inscribing things on Bitcoin. So I think that's going to evolve a little bit more. And then with this whole Jack Butcher stuff, with the burn mechanisms, and we're going to see a lot more people doing that nature. We're going to still see some PFP projects, I believe, but I think that era of having these PFP collections like CryptoPunks and Bored Apes reach that massive, massive value. I think
Hmm.
would be highly unlikely to see that again anytime soon, although
Hmm.
I do still think it's possible. But we're going to see things, we're going to see people start really taking this technology to the brink of what it can do. It's so new, and there's so many different ways to use it that it's difficult to predict what the next thing is going to be. But so for me, what I'm doing is I'm keeping my eye on small little gaming projects and dynamic NFT collections. So a lot of these collections are sort of combining Ethereum with Polygon. So like the main collection will be on Ethereum, and then you can do in-game transactions with Polygon and earn things in the game that you can add to that NFT, thus making it a dynamic NFT. And so
Hmm.
that's really like a rudimentary version of what a dynamic NFT can be. And I believe that there's big potential for people to take that dynamic NFT concept and take it way further than it has been so far. So I'm keeping my eye on gaming NFTs, dynamic NFTs, um, ordinals, and also interesting things that Blur is doing. That's the pose.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing your insights and expertise of everything today. And I really appreciate your time. It has been really illuminating, and also we can tell NFT is still gonna be the one of the most promising trend to worth noticing in the new year. And Yeah, I believe it would be an exciting ride, and we will see. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
yeah, thank you very much. If I can, just for a moment, I just really appreciate everyone. So we provide all these free tools at NFTGo, and we're doing
Mhm.
our best to provide value to the community. So just by going to nftgo.io and checking out our platform, you can really help us out a lot. And also, we've got this really cool Twitter extension for Chrome, which is,
Yeah,
again, completely free, and I find it very useful. I love it. So
it
please
is.
follow us on Twitter, check out our website, download the extension if you use Twitter a lot, join our Discord. I think we're really fun and really hardworking, and we're very open to communication. So reach out to us, say hi, maybe come join us on our Twitter spaces and just get in on the fun with us, and let's all grow together. So
Wow, sounds good. Thank you so much. Thank you,
thank you
Jared.
very much. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate
Have a good one.
it. You too.
Bye.